Hello YouTubers, this is Music Soar here once again, and this time I thought I'd do a video. I wasn't really sure if I wanted to do a video on this topic or not, but this one is on 5 years ago, Guns N' Roses released Chinese Democracy, and I seen Cover Killer Nation a while ago talk about Saint Anger and has Saint Anger over time has years been kind to it where it is actually not a bad record. And I thought, you know what? And I seen a post on Facebook, I think it was, where they're talking about Chinese Democracy and people saying it still sucks, it's terrible. And then you had other people saying it's actually not bad. And I went back and I listened to it and actually thought, is it as bad or as good as I remembered it? Because I haven't listened to it in quite a while. And I'll just say this. The songs I like off of it, I still like. And the songs that I didn't really care for, I really don't care for. It's one of those albums. Track listing for it: Chinese Democracy, Shackler's Revenge, Better, Street of Dreams, If the World, There Was a Time, Catcher in the Rye, Scraped, Raiding the Bedouins, Sorry, IRS, Madagascar, This I Love, and Prostitute. And this album ranged a little over 71 minutes, so a little over an hour and 10 minutes. But my thoughts of this album, like songs I really enjoyed off this album, would be Street of Dreams, There Was a Time, Sorry, IRS a little bit, and This I Love. And I'll throw Chinese Democracy in there a little bit. I seen where they're going for with it, but it wasn't bad. Axl's voice. I have to say, Axl's voice on this was not terrible. The music to it, the stuff playing for it, and wasn't bad either. Like, it wasn't absolutely terrible, unlistenable to the audience there. But like songs like Street of Dreams or Axl's voice as the focus was actually really good. I really enjoyed that song. There Was a Time, like some of his high-pitched vocals and some of this, like This I Love, which is more of a ballady song. And that's something there's a bit of on this album, is there is ballads on here where you can say, okay, that's pretty good. But I think why this album, like initially, it was favored pretty well, and over time still has sort of been like one of those mixed reviews, still have mixed reviews. Europe, I see a lot of like European countries really, it had really great international success, just not really, I guess, great American success. Which, you look at America and American music, let's face it, America sucks for music. But also around the same time, you had a couple other albums come out, and Black Ice by AC/DC and Death Magnetic, I believe, came out around the same time. And those two albums were actually very good. Black Ice wasn't terrible. This reminds me a lot of Black Ice. It wasn't anything terrible, and it wasn't anything overly spectacular. It's a very, I'd almost say, middle of the road. But for 2008 standards, was this a decent record? Because I think what a lot of people did in 2008, it's like, well, it took 17 years to release this record. Or however long it took them to release this record. It better be fucking awesome. And I think people came in with too high of expectations. I came in here with, when I originally listened to it, for 2008, is it a decent record? And not comparing it to all their old shit and everything that a lot of people seem to like to do. They would say, well, it's never as good as Appetite for Destruction or Use Your Illusions or even Lies. But would it ever have been? The band's completely different. That's the other thing. Like, even like Ronthal and Buckethead, I think, are probably two of the best guitar players Axl Rose has ever had. In a way, and I know some might disagree with that, but like, say, Slash and all that, but I believe, but as like a virtuosic approach to guitar, it's not bad. Like, I really don't think musically and lyrically it's bad, just the songs are sort of middle of the road. Nothing overly spectacular, and I just can't And when people shit on this record, well, it's like, what were you really expecting? Like, there is some great stuff off this record, but it's like anything over time. What do you think? To me, it's still the same record it was 5 years ago. Nothing's really going to change about it. I think time has maybe even been a bit more kinder to it. At least to me it has. Time's been a lot more kinder to this record than when it was released in 2008. Like, I think people came in with such high expectations. Now, let's talk also, I think has to be said about the production of this record. This record production almost feels, the songs are good, but later it sort of came out why this album felt blah. Because the guy who was producing the record figured, if we get this out quickly and all that, maybe Guns N' Roses would reunite. The original Guns N' Roses would reunite and do tours, and yeah, we'll make shitloads of money, shitloads of money, shitloads of money. The problem with that is that I think you really realized it with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And when Guns N' Roses, I still don't believe they were ever first ballot Hall of Fame band. When you have bands like Yes, King Crimson, Deep Purple, Rush, Uriah Heep, a lot of big bands not in there yet. And you're going to put Guns N' Roses in there? Hell, even Megadeth I'd put in above Guns N' Roses. But the problem here that lied in this album, or lied in the production and the whole thought of Guns N' Roses reuniting and all that, is I always considered it like a very nasty divorce. Is that there was a lot of hurt and a lot of shots taken at parties, and there was a lot of shots, and it very much reminds me of a very nasty, nasty divorce. And people might say, oh, well, throw enough money at anybody, anyone will do anything. No, I think over the years, I think by them not reuniting and playing the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, that is, Guns N' Roses will never or at least the band, how do I put it? At least the original lineup will never play again. There will never be Axl Rose / Izzy Stradlin, Duff McKagan, or Steven Adler playing together. Or as him as a singer, ever. I think that's dead. I think really Guns N' Roses fans, and even, I think it was Duff McKagan hinted at it, saying the ones who really want this tour are people who are trying to recapture their teenage years, or the fans that never seen them in the first place. And would I care to see Guns N' Roses reunite? Maybe in the future, but I look at it now and I just don't see it happening. I just look at this and I see why they wanted that. Maybe put pressure on them, like, come on, reunite the old band. Get the old band back together. We can rush through this and all that. And then later it came out like they're saying, oh, Axl's writing enough for 2 or 3 albums. I don't believe that. Because if, let's say, he had enough material written for 2 or 3 albums, I think we would have seen some of it by now. At least another album. There is talk that he is working on another album, but I at least think if at the time there was that much material written and recorded, we would have seen it by now. He wouldn't have waited 5 years to release another album. But I think a lot of people said, well, he would have never took even 12 years or 14 years to release the other one. But it's Axl Rose, so we're all in Axl Rose's timeline, and that's something that really, I think right now you're looking at Chinese Democracy, and is it that great? No, not really. Would I recommend listening to certain songs off this? If you're a Guns N' Roses fan, you can't completely dismiss the album as absolute garbage, trash, not a great song off here, because there are good songs. To me, Street of Dreams is one. There Was a Time is a very good song. Even This Side of Love. Sorry. It had a different feel, but there are songs on here like Shackler's Revenge that reminds me so much of a Mudvayne riff or whatever I heard, because a friend showed it to me and it's like, here's Shackler's Revenge, here's that song, it sounds almost the same, and it's like, oh my god. But over time, could we look at this in another 10 years and see where because no one knows where music's going to be in 10 years. Could it be as good as we think it might be? Could it grow on us? Could it get better as music gets, let's face it, shittier, 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 shittier? Could Chinese democracy maybe look better in 10 more years? And that might be the scary thought. If music gets that bad, where this album looks like a masterpiece. Because it's not a masterpiece, but it's not bad. But once again, this is Music Horror. This is really my look back on Guns N' Roses' Chinese Democracy. And fairly, I'm pretty much the same on it. Please be sure to like, favorite, comment, subscribe. Tell me your thoughts on Chinese Democracy. Has it grown on you? Do you still despise it as the same day you first heard it? This is Music Horror here once again. Peace.